Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. We're flying with Jesus today. And as a reminder, he's reminding me so much love in this. We're having a joining on that chapter 20 experiences today. What time did we say? 2 o'clock. And yeah, that's going to be it's really helpful. And to hear from the beings who are going through the chapter so beautifully and so quickly, to find that Jesus will coach them. And also we're going to try to give half-hour notices before we go live. So the live streaming will be spontaneous. We have 365 days of lessons, or close to that number of lessons. But some of them, because of the sound quality or other reasons, we will come and we'll probably be jumping on so that we have really all the lessons with good audio quality that anyone can jump and listen with us, even if it's not live. So, and we encourage, it's just really beautiful to join through the heart in this way with everyone in these light circles. So today's lesson we'll try to do so Lena can hear it with this little translating machine. I know some beings are kind of objecting to it, but we're just following Jesus, and it sounds good, helpful to include all our brothers. Lena, Dyra might join, but we're not sure that she will. Lesson 84.
Lección 84.
I'm seeing that this is our commitment to God when we come together in this way, in this holy communion.
Estoy viendo que este es nuestro compromiso con Dios cuando nos reunimos de esta manera en esta santa comunión.
It's the means given by Jesus for us to see quickly that we are infinite light of being and there's no limitation to our identity.
Los medios dados por Jesús para que veamos rápidamente que somos luz infinita del ser y no hay limitación a nuestra identidad.
And it's so helpful when you know, just as Jesus promises, he's going to tell us everything that we need to know. It's just beautiful when we see that and just relax into him telling us everything. That's love.
Y es tan útil cuando ustedes saben que Jesús promete que Él nos va a decir todo lo que necesitamos saber, que es simplemente hermoso cuando ustedes muchachos ven eso y simplemente se relajan y lo hacen diciéndonos todo lo que es amor.
To hear and speak that voice is infinite love just flowing and shining through us.
El amor infinito solo fluye y brilla a través de nosotros.
That voice carries the power of God with it.
Esa voz lleva consigo el poder de Dios.
And thus when we speak the words of truth that Jesus puts through us, that comes through us, when we accept that, we're accepting the divine light within.
Y eso es cuando hablamos de palabras de verdad que Jesús pone a través de nosotros, que viene a través de nosotros, cuando aceptamos que estamos aceptando la luz divina en nuestro interior.
It's the celebration of all that is when we speak that voice. That's why there's so much resistance to speaking that voice, because it denies the denial.
Es la celebración de todo lo que es cuando hablamos esa voz. Es por eso que hay tanta resistencia a hablar esa voz, porque niega que el Nilo.
That's why the play in consciousness is to whinge and hedge on speaking that voice and hearing that voice only.
Porque el juego en la conciencia es ganar terreno al hablar esa voz y escuchar esa voz solamente.
It's not the words, it's not the sounds, it's not the meaning, it's where it comes from.
No son las palabras, no son los sonidos, no es el significado de dónde viene.
It is the reminder of who we are.
Es un recordatorio de quiénes somos.
It is the celebration of all that we are, that voice.
Es la celebración de todo lo que somos esa voz.
It is a celebration of the one.
Es una celebración del uno.
So when we're joining in these joining in light sessions and listening to hear Jesus speak to us, we're celebrating the one and we're honoring it through speaking the voice, hearing and speaking.
Así que cuando nos unimos en estas sesiones de luz y escuchamos a Jesús hablarnos, estamos celebrando al uno y lo estamos honrando a través de hablar la voz, escuchando y hablando.
And as we all recognize, as we've turned inward to really look with Jesus, we recognize there has been plenty of talking that comes from the serpent tongue.
Todos reconocimos que nos hemos vuelto hacia nuestro interior para mirar realmente lo que Jesús reconocemos que ha habido mucho de hablar que viene de la lengua de la serpiente.
The voice of the wrong mind.
La voz de la mente equivocada.
And that's you speaking that voice is how the ego holds separate.
Hablando así se expresa como el águila se mantiene separada.
So while those words are being spoken, it's a means that the ego uses to live within the dream, to live the experience of what's being said.
Así que mientras esas voces que eran palabras están siendo habladas, es un medio que el ego usa para vivir dentro del sueño, para vivir la experiencia de lo que está siendo dicho.
It's the perpetuation of identity through stories, false identities through stories and beliefs and what's happening to a me.
La perpetuación de la identidad a través de historias, identidades falsas a través de historias y creencias y lo que le está pasando a un yo.
And that's why that teaching in Muji Satsang is such a powerful teaching when beings come forth and start speaking, and he says immediately which voice is speaking.
Y es por eso que esa enseñanza en el Sachang de Muji es una enseñanza tan poderosa cuando los seres salen y empiezan a hablar y él dijo inmediatamente qué voz está hablando.
And that's discernment that we must have. Jesus says, yes, you must have that discernment of which voice is speaking.
Y ese es el discernimiento que debemos tener. Jesús dice, sí, usted debe tener ese discernimiento de qué voz está hablando.
The voice of all that is, that voice.
Voz de todo lo que es esa voz.
The voice that comes from the unknowing of time or space.
La voz viene del desconocimiento del tiempo o del espacio.
Or limitation or suffering.
Limitación o sufrimiento.
So along the way, there's the holding of the position using the voice of the wrong mind.
Así que a lo largo del camino se mantiene la posición usando la voz de la mente equivocada.
There's an intermediate, if you can call it that, but a very, Jesus saying, very necessary step. So instead of speaking, I know something.
Intermedio, si se puede llamar eso, pero un muy Jesús diciendo pasos muy necesarios para que en lugar de hablarse algo.
There's the intermediate willingness of maybe I don't quite know what I'm talking about.
La voluntad intermedia de quizá y no sé muy bien de lo que estoy hablando.
Maybe there's another way to see this.
Hay otra manera de ver esto.
And that's the spaciousness for the power of God to move, for us to see that the power of God has always moved through us.
Esa es la amplitud a la que se mueve el poder de Dios para que veamos que el poder de Dios siempre se mueve a través de nosotros.
The only voice of value, the infinite voice.
Única voz de valor, la voz infinita.
So in the first position
Así que en la primera posición
is the big fat snooze, I'm going to stay asleep position.
es el sueño gordo que voy a permanecer dormido.
The second position is I'm opening to see what I've denied because it's true.
La segunda posición es que me estoy abriendo para ver lo que he negado porque es verdad.
Until it's seen that the third position is the only position there is, God.
Viendo que la tercera posición es la única posición que hay es Dios.
The full purposing of the body through which the spirit speaks through it, it becomes the vehicle for communication, but not the communication with words, the communion with source, all that is.
El propósito del cuerpo a través del con el espíritu habla a través de él. Si él viene el vehículo para la comunicación, pero no es la comunicación con las palabras, la comunión con la fuente, todo lo que es.
Where the body is no longer the vehicle for self-sacrifice.
El cuerpo ya no es el vehículo para el autosacrificio.
So I asked Jesus if he would speak about changes seemingly in a body.
Así que le pregunté a Jesús si él hablaría acerca de los cambios aparentemente en un cuerpo.
So we're blessed to have Dyra join us this morning, and in a few minutes when she's ready, she will start to translate in Spanish for us, for our Spanish listeners.
Así que estamos bendecidos de tener diarrea con nosotros esta mañana y en unos minutos cuando esté lista comenzará a traducir al español para nosotros los primeros oyentes en español.
And we bless Dyra so much because this communication device uses another word for her name. That's very unwinding for all of us.
Cuando hemos bendecido tanto a Iris porque este dispositivo de comunicación utiliza otra palabra para su nombre, es un gran despliegue para todos nosotros.
This device has been very unwinding for all of us.
La cara ha sido muy relajada para todos nosotros.
But you know, she maintains the glow of God regardless of what her name and form is.
Sabes que ella mantiene el resplandor de Dios sin importar cuál sea su nombre y forma.
Our blessing is to see that in truth we have no name.
Bendición es ver que en verdad no tenemos nombre.
Gracias.
Let's just give Lena a second to dial in here. And it's such deep commitment here. Deep commitment to the light within. That's how we commit to our brother, by committing to the light within. We commit to God and then let his voice speak through us. It's not for anyone because there's no one that it's for other than the celebration for ourselves of infinite light. The song of gratitude, like speaking this voice is the song of gratitude. I just asked Jesus to speak in this voice, the song of prayer. Yes. This is the song of prayer. See, it's singing. He's teaching us to sing like the crickets that we are by speaking that voice. So that becomes the only thing of value because it's now in purpose, the voice box, seemingly of a body, yet it's beyond the body. It's the way to walk in this world, but not of this world. So I'm going to talk right before the lesson a little bit also about, I asked him to speak about changes in the body that seem to appear. It seems like there may be some changes. You know what Jesus is saying about that? Do not be concerned about that at all. That's what he's saying. Because the body merely reflects thoughts in the mind. But if we go to the light, see the light, not only doesn't have any thoughts, it has no concern over body. He's saying directly, give this to me. Give the body to me. See, and let me be unconcerned of anything having to do with this. And also he's saying, I will bring your attention to the things you need to use, because you can use, the body is merely a reflection of the mind. So if there's something appearing in the body, we can ask him about it and it's helpful. He's reminding me that we can get very hung up in body symptoms. So even in this, he must guide us. We must ask. It's so helpful. It became so helpful because I could see I was like an ambulance chaser. That was, every time I said, I've got to work on this with Jesus. And what I'm seeing is, the intention is, yes, go to Jesus. Okay, good step. It's just that the ego gets involved in it. It's trying to choose miracles. Do you see? It's not our function to choose which miracles. He's very clear on this point. It's not our function. Ask him right now, because you can all hear him. Jesus, my function to choose which miracles. You can hear that. N-O. And that's what it's going to be like that. It's just like a little fear monger. So what's helpful is to say, is it helpful? Look at this. And it's been very helpful with him, because he tells me which body symptoms. And he's reminding me now, there's probably a few other I could turn, and not worry about when it's appearance. It is good. The first step is go to Jesus when the symptom occurs. You can go to him, but don't forget we're telling him what needs to be fixed. How's that going to work? That's so Okay, so I admit to doing that a few times because we never know they're upset. So we can ask him, is this something to look at? That's been really, really helpful. And times I'll be surprised. He'll say no. He's reminding me of the time like that. I don't know, for some reason, he was telling me the playing consciousness was like trip over my feet, which I do a lot, have done a lot. I had to give my feet over to him because I know, stub my toes, or I think I talked about just almost trying to almost falling over to break my foot. And he was telling me, you really wanted to have the experience of breaking that. But we become we don't have enough beliefs, actually. There's not, the energy falls away of those kinds of experiences. But I just prayed a lot on that toe to him. And he's saying that's really good. But eventually I just finally said, Jesus, do I need to be concerned about this toe at all? And the answer came back, no. I said, do you have this handled? Yes. And then just, put it down. It's like a puppy. We're trying to train the puppy to release. And how, like, with a dog, especially these two they like both have massive prey drives. I don't know what you're going to do. Anything that lands in that yard's going to be gone. But anyway, but how that's what we do. We like lock down on it. It's like a real process to go. Jesus is saying, release, and the dog's pulling. It's just like its life depends on it. And that's exactly what we're doing. And at least that's experience. And it took a while, it would take a while, the little motor action figure of like, okay, this is a problem, and then locking down. And even when I asked Jesus, do I need to worry about that? And you could just watch this. And it just took a while to drop it. Like Muji says, drop it like a hot potato. But we don't drop it like a hot potato. Our hands are like burning. The smoke is rising, flesh is falling off, and we're going, I'm not sure if I want to put this down. So anyway, he's saying to ask him. Yes, go to him. Yes, yes, yes. So that was a good step. At least I was going. But like we abort, we go to him, and then like he says in chapter 30, which someone beautifully brought up here, just reminder, I think it was Irene was talking about, chapter 30. You've already made the decision before you even ask me. And so we even ask them. So going naked with nothing, like, okay, this is showing up. Do I need to look at it? And then just drop it. If he says drop it, like, don't hold the bone and then go bury it to save it. Then you go bury it down there, save it for another day, take it out, chew on it some more. So we really have to trust him in that, on the body symptoms and all kinds of, oh my goodness. I'm talking to him about it now. I think I talked about it. And it's not for anybody else. It was just for here. And, all these seeming energetic releases and all the kundalini, you could get, the ego's going to divert you on that stuff. There's two questions. Is this light? Is, like I said before, he's reminding me, is Jesus breaking out in a sweat on this? And we'll start to see how many things, like, we're just, just getting that fire going. This is like burnout. This is a concern. No, this is a concern. No, I got a better concern than that last concern. So ask him, and you will see. You may see changes in the body, but remember, it's all of the mind. And he's always saying, let me reveal to you the conditions so it's an opportunity to ask him, show me the conditions for this, the beliefs below it. I'm asking him, it's okay to talk about that. I was mentioning that this morning, even before the course, in this exploration of beliefs, where he was training me about the power of beliefs. And there would be beings had various structural things that they would ask about. I'm not saying you go in and change your body with this. It's not the point. The point is that as beliefs change, it reflects out in form. And it can be very dramatic. Someone had like this bump here just in their chest, and we just looked at beliefs and it was gone. It just was it's just a reflection. It's not to go find things in our body to get, it's just, the point is that if there's a belief held below the subconscious mind, it reflects and change in form. And as he's told me and reminding me now, a lot of these things, we're just terrified of it. We made it to terrify ourselves so we can have the roller coaster ride on. And a lot of times it's a release to a miracle, and the ego's having a fit over it. Now, that's not helpful. So we're releasing and protesting the release to divine nature. Now, that's just not helpful. So it's really good. We join on it and just go, okay, what are you hearing? You hearing this and that? No. And then just drop the bone. We don't have to keep gnawing on that. Just, no, nothing. Do I need to look at this, Jesus? No. And he'll tell me, he would tell me, get some kind of twitch even. He'd say, no, look at it. That's how, oh my God, so much love in that. That is how specific is the power of what he's talking about in terms of being in control of those miracles. That's the power. That's how it saves time. That's how it saves us not being worried about every little, drooling at night or whatever. Consciousness just displays, and it's a diversity of ways. How are we going to know which one of those things to handle? Jesus says you don't. He's very direct. You do not know. And until we get to the point that we do not know and we turn over completely every miracle, he's reminding me, I must need to hear it. Every miracle to his care. Because we don't even know what the miracle is that we need. Remember, I'm never upset for the reason I think. So, the ego is going to spend a lot of time on the story of why it's upset, not to look with him. So it's really simple. I'm upset, pull out the joining in light worksheet. That's it. It's like, Jesus, do I join with you or a brother? It's just so simple. See the light? Admit I'm upset, and I don't even know why I'm upset. Admit that. I have no idea why I'm upset. That's happiness. Don't know anything. These are the ideas for today's review. Love created me like itself. I said Jesus. You can start getting really playful with Jesus. He's happy with that because we're talking to him. So I just said, that's the only thought I need for today. He goes, yes. Are you willing to accept, Jesus, am I willing to accept this? The only thought, love created me like itself. He said, you'll be really happy. You'll be really happy if you do. Okay. I am in the likeness of my creator. Let's hear it, Let's just ask Jesus. It's loving love when we ask these questions, that. Okay, so we can just be reminded, and the bird lands in the heart. The blue bird of happiness, of identity, just fully rests in its home instead of following the bats that fly. Instead of following all those bat thoughts everywhere out of the bat cave, we'll stay with the blue bird of happiness in our heart and just say, Jesus, okay. I want to be reminded I'm likeness of my creator. Am I? So we can start hearing that yes, because that yes is the listening to our own voice. Yes. That supreme happiness, hearing that yes. And then you can just ask all kinds of questions and hear the yeses, nos. We can start out with yeses, nos. Just get used to hearing the yeses and nos. That's why, again, chapter 20 is so powerful, because we're learning to hear his yeses and nos. And then it kind of ekes out a whole conversation. So we'll start with the yes or no. Am I in the likeness of my creator? And then you start getting those little love kisses, yes. But it's a great way to learn discernment for that voice. That was just really helpful here. Seeing that voice always answers when we really just listen in. Am I like my creator? It's like a little smile comes. And the ego might scream about it. Just ignore that. Just ask him, Jesus, do I need to listen to the ego screaming? See if he doesn't have a requirement for it, you're home free. It's just whether we'll follow. See, that's following. Following Jesus is not listening to that voice. Not listening. I'm going to ignore it. And I'm going to look at every desire he's pointing me to in that chapter 20. Because it's so direct. It's unsparing. Muji would say that unsparing is seeing that you're light. See if any thoughts will survive in light. If not, nothing to worry about. That's unsparing. Chapter 20, unsparing. It's so direct. Jesus, do I have this desire below my level of awareness? And it's either a yes or no. See, it's really learning the yeses, nos. And that's helpful. Then he can coach us. Jesus, is this coming from you? Yes or no? Is this a prompt for me to follow? He'll say yes or no. That way we just, even with just yeses and nos, we can start getting really powerful clarity on things. Is this an expression of divinity, divine light, what the body seems to be heading toward? And it's so helpful. And I talked about this too, the willingness, this was really helpful, like in saying to Jesus, if Jesus, for some reason I'm denying this, I'm going to drop it. Like if I bought a plane ticket or if I'm heading out that door in the front of this building, Jesus, am I to go outside? And he says no. Or if I had gone outside and I somehow quote unquote missed the prompt, or I'll go right back in. I'll drop whatever it is I'm doing. Is this not, and he's reminding me this, is this in alignment with divine will? And it's that willingness to say no, at any point. See, what happens is we grab the bone and then we run with it. We grab the no and just stay in it. We stay with the no and then use the excuse, oh, well, Jesus will be with me, but you're inside of the denial. You're in the dream going, I'll just listen to Jesus. No, you won't. If you won't listen to him now, it's, it just doesn't automatically happen in the future. At some point, we have to say no to divine light. I mean, say no to. Jesus said, see that as entertainment, to see if you're paying attention. At some point, we have to say no to the other voice. There isn't another way around it. There just isn't. It has to be. It has to be. I cannot suffer. Jesus, am I willing to see that I can't suffer? Am I willing not to suffer? Am I willing to cease to have an experience of suffering? Do I relish suffering? I'm going to ask him. And if he says yes, great, good place to start. No judgment. This is the judgment-free zone. We're just having a conversation where he can help us without us going into any kind of histrionics. See, as soon as you're in the histrionics, it's going to be very hard to hear him because they're made to avoid him. Emotions are made to live inside the dream of something happening to a me. We're not making them good or bad. Sometimes they express, but it's really, really helpful to say, is this release or is this holding? This is just really simple things he's giving us to check in with him on. I cannot suffer, I cannot experience loss, and I cannot die. Geez, so we'll just check in with the light. We'll do the light test. Infinite light of being. Let's just see in there, is there death? This is us. This is how we can check in with ourselves, with the truth of who we are. We're just checking. It's like a little check-in, the light test. In truth, Jesus, can I suffer? See, he's super consciousness. He maintains the memory. I cannot experience loss. Jesus, in truth, in the light of divine being, can I experience loss? Okay, so in honesty of God, do I relish experiencing loss? If he says yes, and you say, okay, just show me, will you show me, be willing to see the desire down to the death wish? Because if it's appearing, then we believe heaven is in it. It appears only because we believe heaven is in hell. So go ahead, show me where I believe heaven is in hell. See, in this, the low confusion. So it's a reunification in perception. It doesn't really happen, but you could speak it this way because it's helpful, of the fragmentation. As soon as that connection is away, and he said that in the course, you must see the cost of it. As soon as we truly see the cost of what we thought was heaven, see, it just, The parts can't push apart anymore. It's a recognition that they're really one. We can't play that game of different parts and separation anymore. It's seeing that we've been holding ourselves apart and that is hell rather than heaven. So that's where he can help us in the catacombs, when he takes us down and we're releasing the desires. Looking, oh, I still have that desire. Oh, I still think my brother can steal heaven from me. Oh, I still think that there's heaven in usurping the power of God. And you can ask him that. But with each one of those, it just opens. We become more and more open for what he's going to show us. So he finally shows us it's nada. We've been dancing with the devil without there actually being a devil. He's just showing us down that we like going into the catacombs and relishing keeping our little treasures down there. Little treasures of pleasure treasures. So let's just ask, Jesus, do I relish experience death in a body? Just go until he says no. If he says yes, great. Okay, I accept it. I accept that I really, really relish. Do I relish dying to the light, killing the light out of my awareness? Do I relish that? You go until he says no. Because he knows where those little secret pockets are. I am not a body. I would recognize my reality today. I will worship no idols, no raise my own self-concept to replace myself. I am in the likeness of my Creator. Love created me like itself. See, you can get those little thoughts of God, love kisses with these lessons. It's helpful first to look at the objections to them. Jesus, will you show me all the objections to love created me like itself? He says, give me your time and I will. So he asks us, give over your relationships, holy relationships. Give time and space to me. Give the body to me. Just to the full assistance. Because we have to be receptive to it. We have to total receptivity to everything he's offering. That's receptivity to ourselves. Our receptivity to him. Our receptivity to our brother is just a symbol of how receptive we are to the infinite nature of being. You might find these specific forms helpful in applying the idea. Let me not see an illusion of myself in this. As I look on this, let me remember my Creator. Jesus, will you help me look on things today and remember my Creator and everything? He says, that's what I'm here for, really. To have you see that you're supported in every way. Every way. Because that's a play of consciousness to feel like we're not being supported. Jesus, I'd like to look at any areas in the mind where I feel like any residual where I feel like I might not be supported by God. Will you show me? And you just get a little love cuddle. Because you're turning in. We're turning into the truth. My Creator did not create this as I see it. Jesus, am I willing to see things as my Creator did not create as I see it? And again, it's great. Either way, if he says yes or no. It's now we're the happy learner. Like before, we're so afraid of someone saying no, or let's just be the happy learner. Take it to Jesus for his interpretation. If you get a no, like my Creator, I do believe that what I see is of more value than the way God created things, and he tells you yes, you can celebrate in that, because before that was hidden. And then you just have a conversation. Okay, Jesus, so I have this belief. How can I clear that? Will you help me clear this? Because we can't clear it. Because that's the I, and the I is the one that doesn't want it doesn't want the miracles. It's a blessing. It's such a blessing, this chapter 20. To be so concentrated on where we don't want miracles. And for him to show us so specifically, you don't want miracle there, you know. But it's fast because we're working with the one who knows, taking us all the way home. So thank you, Jesus. He's saying, leave this all to me. And that's the experience here. It's like, at first, we're going, really? It's like, really? I can give everything over to you? You know, we're so unused to being loved by God. To see that we are love itself. The play is always finding a way not to be loved. But you can't be loved. I mean, Jesus has to use these kinds of terms. But the truth is you cannot be loved. Because that's a verb. Love in God's language is a noun. It's you. It doesn't move between objects. It's just here. Total and complete. Love is what you are. So now, as he promises in the Course, he's given a means. Like I've said many times, I just wonder at that when I typed that in that book. This is a new means given by me. You think, well, that's a strong statement until you live it. Till he fulfills, you see, by being open, he fulfills the promise that there is an easier way to look directly with him, and that he is helping every single one of us. And so at 2, when we have the chapter 20, that's just another time to be reminded how he's really got a plan for each and every one of us. No Child Left Behind program. This is the only true No Child Left Behind. It's the only true No Child Left Behind program that there is. So thank you, Jesus. Oh, I think I have 5 more to go, don't I? 84. Love holds no grievances. I got 1 more. Grievances are completely alien to love. Grievances attack love and keep its lights obscure. If I hold grievances, I'm attacking love and therefore attacking myself. So let's just ask them, because this honesty of God, of seeing that it's self-attack for everything, that's so helpful. We can read it here, but again, until we go with nakedness to see, oh yeah, I'm just beating myself with a stick. There's no one out there to beat with every one of these thoughts. This is the beehive. I put the beehive of thoughts on my head and I'm wearing it. I said, Jesus, can we just take it off? He said, yes. So the assumption is, I don't know what to do. I'm really being stung by bees. Take it off. It's that helpless. It's wanting to be helpless and keep all the and keep it. Grievances attack love and keep its light obscure. If I hold grievances, I'm attacking love and therefore attacking myself. Jesus, will you show me wherever I'm attacking myself? He says, that's my function. When you're open, I can just show you where all the attack is in the catacombs down there, where, you know, he's showing us where the fuel is. The bees buzzing up here, you know, that's the play in some spiritual. I want to stop the thoughts. But he says, come down here with me and let me show you the wanting of the experience of Come with me. Ignore all that. That's the distraction to keep you from looking down there to see that who's powering that engine. It's a desire to power the engine of. So when we go down with him, he can show us, no, you're making that experience. So we make the bees buzzing. Then we complain about it. Jesus, I don't understand. I got all these bees. So he knows he has to step us out of the bees because we really like them. Is that a relished experience? Myself thus becomes alien to me. This experience is to make us aliens to ourselves. You know, we thought when we went to the movie Alien and that thing comes ripping out of her like that, that's something happening to her. No, that's desired experience to be taken over by an alien inside. You can ask Jesus, do I relish this alien presence? It's humbling when he says, yep. I am determined not to attack myself today so that I can remember who I am. These specific forms of applying this idea would be helpful. There's no justification for denying myself. Oh, Jesus, do I believe there's any justification? Oh, will you show me? And then you go until he says, no, all the justifications are gone. I will not use this to attack love. Let this not tempt me to attack myself. Do I relish being tempted to attack myself? See, and you just ask them these things so we can see directly that we're choosing. The I is a choice to deny light, that we're totally infinite light. Look in the light. We'll do the light test. The best place to start is infinite light to see, is there a single grievance in there? It has no grievances. It doesn't know anything other than love. See that does the light know anything other than love? It just is love. It is what is. Love is what is. Yay for lesson 84. Jesus, I'm willing to see you take me down, see if there's any little engine left down there. The little engine of attack, and then it comes up and you feel like the buzz. And so now he's teaching us, let me show you where you're fueling in the catacombs what seems to be appearing, the buzz. So we have to go below, he calls it above the battlefield. However it is, it's outside of the. And so we have to continually practice because we're so used to thinking is something that's happening to us. We're so think that God's sending the God's punishing me with the no, I'm punishing myself with the bees buzzing. So you go with Jesus, and then when the energy of the desire for the buzzing goes, the buzzing can't happen without the desire for it. Rock our worlds, Jesus. Straight up in the rocket ship. So we'll see you too. If you feel the spark to join us, we'd love for you to join us. Even if you haven't started chapter 20 yet, we're putting together partners through guidance from Jesus to look. And he really encourages, if you can look every day, you're worthy of that. You're worthy of these just deep clearings that he's doing. And you're worthy of daily practice with it, hearing his voice so specifically at where these things are in the catacombs of consciousness and releasing them to miracles. And learning things like why we can't be in control of the miracles, why he's in control of them, why we have to ask him everything, why our happiness, supreme happiness depends on it. And he'll say yes. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, my brother, for coming. And we'll ask Lori if she'll sing us on out. Sing us on into the day. And feel free, is it something everyone can sing? Okay.
Feel the Real.
Feel the Real, one of our favorites, which we love Feel the Real. And I think she's putting up a lot of these. We have a playlist on her songs, so you can practice singing along. Maybe we'll have another sing along coming up here too. So we'll see. Okay, Jesus. You're right. We'll just mute it while we set up. We'll see if it goes with this. I need to get more musical instruments in here. Look at those.
Good morning, gorgeous light. How sweet it is to be loved by you. It's like honey to the bee, babe. Please sing Feel the Real with us. Riders of the storm, breakers alive. You are light now. Thanks to the choir here, and thanks to you guys for singing. Thank you, loves, for joining us. Thank you, Lori. Another rock and roll moment in music.